Good to see everybody here. Glad you all changed your clock so you could be here on time. Beautiful day. So glad to have you all. It's the board's practice that prior to the commencement of our board meeting and before calling the meeting to order, a prayer be given. The board member who delivers the prayer may make reference to his or her own religious faith, just as you might refer to yours when offering a prayer. We wish to emphasize, however, that members of all religious faiths are welcome not only in these meetings, but in our community as well. The participation of all citizens in the process of self-government will help our Board of Supervisors to better serve the good people of Mecklenburg County. At this time, I will call on Mrs. Lundy to lead us in prayer.
Thank you. To bow your heads in prayer. Most holy and everlasting Father, it is again that we pause to give thanks for all the many blessings you have bestowed upon us. But most of all, we thank you for your Son, Jesus Christ, who died on that cruel Calvary cross for the sins of the world. We come today to pray for the safety of the Ukrainian people and a quick end to the destructive war with Russia.
Amen.
We also pray for the safety of our troops who have been sent to aid the country of Ukraine. Now, Father, as we convene this meeting, we pray for your guidance, that we may be able to transact the business of this county in a way that it may be pleasing with you and to the citizens that we serve. This we ask in the precious name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
I will now call this meeting of the Mecklenburg County Board of Supervisors to order. I want to ask you, if you will, to please either mute or turn off your cell phones so we don't have those interruptions during the meeting. This time I will also ask you to please stand for our pledge to the flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Board, you have in your packet the minutes of the February 14th meeting. If there are no changes to those minutes, need a motion to approve them.
Mr. Chairman, I motion to approve the February 14th, 2022 minutes.
Well, you've heard the motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. The agenda you have before you, I do have one addition under County Administrator's Report. Add item 7, Chase City Housing Project. That's all the changes that I have. Anyone else have any additions or deletions at this time? If not, the chair would entertain a motion to adopt the amended agenda.
Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Our first order of business tonight is a public hearing on the special exception permit application from Eric and Anita Middleton. Mr. Hendrick?
Mr. Chairman, before I get started on the application, I'd like to introduce my assistant, Chariot. She started on January the 3rd, so she's helping me out in the office.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Glad to have you.
Thank you.
Okay, I have an application by Eric Middleton for a special exception permit to allow for a house salon. This property identified as county tax number 188-000-A/012, zone agricultural, is located on the east side of Highway 723, Shiny Rock Road, approximately 0.2 of a mile south of its intersection with Highway 724, Lewis Mill Road, Election District 1, County of Mecklenburg, reference deed book LR-11-487.
Okay, is anyone here representing the Middletons who wishes to speak before we go to public hearing? If not, we will open the public hearing to consider this special exception permit that you just heard outlined. Anyone wishing to speak to this permit application, please come forward at this time. Seeing no one, I declare the public hearing to be closed. What's the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chairman, this is in my district. I would ask if you accept a special exception permit from Erica and Anita Milton, please.
You've heard the motion. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Next, we have a rezoning application from TWO-W LLC. Mr. Hendrick?
Application by 2-W LLC to rezone from Business B1 to Residential R2 to allow for 10 apartment buildings, 1 clubhouse, 1 maintenance building, and a community center. This property identified as county tax number 033A07-A-15, zoned as Business B1, is located on the south side of Highway 92, approximately 200 feet east of its intersection with Highway 600 Bailey Drive. Election District 8, County of Mecklenburg, reference D-Book LR 14-3055.
Okay, thank you. Anyone here representing the applicant that wishes to speak before we go to public hearing? Yes, come forward.
Good evening. My name is Gerald Hooten. I'm with B&B Consultants, and I'm representing Kess Realty to Partners, and they are with the property owner. I'm the civil engineer on the project, and the rezoning request is for apartment complex, approximately 10 buildings in the master development, and it's going to be phased for construction for the first 2 through Mecklenburg County. The total units for the apartment complex in the master phase is 640. Again, they plan to do 2 buildings up front. And the target apartment complex is 80% 2-bedroom, 10% 1-bedroom, and 10% 3-bedroom. They've gone through lots of development items so far, surveying the property and all the wetlands and waters of the U.S. designations. And I'm actually here just to answer any additional questions if anybody has anything else.
Anyone have any questions?
Where are these? Where are these apartments?
Just outside of Chase City.
Oh, okay, I didn't hear that part, okay.
Are these conventional?
Yes,
Conventional.
like conventional apartments, just regular apartments.
Okay. All right.
The developer's actually in the process of doing the architectural plans and just working on those now.
Any questions? All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
At this time, we will open the public hearing to consider this rezoning application that you've just heard outlined. Anyone wishing to speak to this matter, please come forward.
Good evening, everyone. I'm
Evening.
Dusty Forbes, Town Manager in Chase City. We are highly encouraged by the developers' will to come to Chase City and build these apartments. We all know that the county is struggling for new housing. These will be market rate apartments, and we are hopeful to get your approval to rezone this property so they can begin the work to start adding these the apartments to Chase City. Again, it's going to be a big benefit for the town to give us the opportunity, because we don't have any housing for sure in Chase City. And we need these apartments to help our population grow and help with the growth of the county. So we look forward to your recommendation. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? If not, I declare the public hearing to be closed. And also would remind the board that this was approved unanimously by the Planning Commission. What's the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we accept this application of rezoning this property.
Okay, you've heard that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Next, we have our public comments session. I encourage you, if you have any matters you wish to take up concerning our county, to come forward this time. I do remind you that you are limited to 3 minutes. But if anyone, got any sign-ups, Mr. Carter?
Yes, sir. Got 4.
Okay.
First is Kurt Gravitt.
He's changed.
How's everyone doing this afternoon?
Good evening.
My name's Kirk Gravitt. I'm here with my partner, Jonathan Billings, and together we have started a business called Lake Country Disposal, and pretty much what it does is provide us a service to the citizens of this county as far as collecting and disposing of household garbage throughout the county. We are operating in Mecklenburg County only, and what we're here tonight to ask the Board of Supervisors to work with us on is it's our understanding that we are going to have to be charged a tipping fee when we go to the landfill on 92. And what we were pretty much understanding is that the fee that we're going to be charged is actually supposedly built in our county taxes already. Every citizen that is a member of this county pays those taxes and is supposed to handle that tipping fee. And what we're trying to do tonight is trying to work with the county to get that waived. Us running this service in this county is going to save the county money. If we're collecting the garbage in the county for the county and hauling it to the county, like I said, it would very much save the county right much money. It's a long overdue service that's had very much positive feedback from the citizens of this county. From my understanding, every citizen who lives outside of the town limits in the county can benefit from this service. We would, like I said, we've had outgoing support ever since we started. We more than willing to work with the county in any way, and we hope to have right much support going forward with this topic and this issue. I think it's fairly known that the county is going to go to these convenience sites, and like I said, we felt like this would be a service to, help all of the citizens in this county and better serve them in this way.
Okay. All right. That's something, of course, we'd have to take under advisement. We'd have to get staff to look into that and possibly go through our landfill committee for consideration. So we'll make that happen.
Right, and like I said, we're just trying to be treated fairly.
Sure.
Like I said, we understand that it's a process that it has to go through, and we just
Okay.
hopefully will be heard.
All right.
So
Thank you very much.
Thank y'all so
And
much.
good luck with your business.
Thank y'all. We like I said, thank y'all so much.
Next is Jonathan Billings.
I was just got here to back him up and answer any questions y'all might have.
Next is Trudy Berry.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm here just to introduce myself. I am Trudy Berry. I live in Lunenburg County, and I am running for delegate for the new House District 50, and Mecklenburg County is in the new House District 50. And if I might pass out my business card or hand it to one to pass around the table.
Just leave those with staff, if you will.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Next is Gerald Hooten's already spoken. Did you want to speak again, Gerald? Yes, sir. Want to make sure I give you full opportunity. That's all I have, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Next, we're going to hear from Jason Corwin, our general registrar. Bring us up to speed on some relocations and what's going on in the registrar's office.
How are y'all doing today?
Good evening.
I was going to come last month, but y'all looked really busy. We got bumped. But we got a call on January, right after we got back from everybody in my family having COVID. So it was about the middle of January. And Miss West said that we would no longer be able to use her building, which is the old Crowder's Driving School. As soon as we found out, we let Mr. Carter know. Mr. Carter got in touch with Mr. Jennings, who got in touch with Mr. Hargrove. So it was all hands on deck to get this going as quick as we could, and went and we let our electoral board know, and we toured the facility. Mr. Hargrove was nice enough to show us around the church, and they have a handicap ramp that goes down to the basement, which we think will suit a lot of the voters in that building a little bit better than. Oddly enough, Crowder's Driving School, they've got more parking. It's a little more accessible, a little bit bigger area in there. So the board, our electoral board voted to move the precinct, and we just need a vote from this board in order to move it from its previous location to its proposed location. And it'll affect about 908 voters. And what we'll do, like we've done with every other precinct move, we'll mail new voter cards to all affected voters. We'll put signs up at the old location on our website, and we'll run it in the paper again before the elections.
Is that a public hearing we have to do?
We can either do 2 public hearings, or once y'all approve the move, I can apply to the Attorney General's office for a no contest move.
Gotcha.
That would be the easiest, and I
Yeah,
don't believe
yeah,
anyone's
yeah.
got any issues with it. It's on 47. It's 2 miles from the other one, prime location. Easy access, good sight distance both ways. I mean,
Okay. Anybody else got any questions about that? All right, we need a motion then to approve this relocation of polling precinct 702.
Move to approve the relocation of the polling location, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, you've heard the motion. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay.
All right. The last thing I have is my electoral board has asked me to come before y'all to request a referendum that our office does early voting on Sunday. It's in the code book that our board can actually require this to happen, but they didn't want to just require it and nobody use it. They wanted it to be put in front of the citizens to see if it was a service that they would be willing, that people would be willing to take advantage of before we implement it. And that was their thought process behind it.
But as I understand it, we don't need to take any action or aren't required, Mr.
You're
Slavin?
not legally able to. Did you get my email?
I did, but
Okay.
again, I told the board and they asked if I would come up here and do it. And
Mr. Chairman, the board does not have the authority to schedule a referendum. So the answer is you can't do what you're being asked to do. The code, as Jason said, allows the electoral board to opt for Sunday voting, early voting, if they want to. But apparently they want to take the temperature of the public, which is fine, except you can't schedule a referendum. So you can't do it. You don't have the authority to do it.
well, that was very easy. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
there's actually very few things you can do a referendum for.
Right.
And they're quite specific.
And there's a reason. People would have a referendum every time something's controversial.
Okay. All right, we've got some committee reports to hear from. First is Emergency Services, Mr. Hargrove.
I have 2 resolutions here that I would like to bring to the board to vote on, and one of them is the Mecklenburg County Board of Supervisors, which we met today at 4 p.m. for our meeting. The resolution that a record schedule, whereas 32.1-111.46, the Code of Virginia allows the Board of Supervisors to establish an emergency medical service agency as a department of government and designate it to the name consistent with the names of its other governmental units. Whereas the Board of Supervisors desires to designate Mecklenburg County Emergency Services as an emergency medical services agency to deliver emergency medical services in Mecklenburg County. And whereas the Board of Supervisors plans in accordance with the powers authorized by 32.1-111-43 and 32.1-111-14B of the Code of Virginia to provide emergency medical service to Mecklenburg County Emergency Services as allowed in 32.1-111-43A of the Code of Virginia. Now therefore be it resolved that the Mecklenburg County Board of Supervisors designate Mecklenburg County Emergency Services as one, the Department of the Government of Mecklenburg County responsible for the provision of emergency medical service. 2, and an agency to deliver emergency medical services within the Mecklenburg County. I'm going to stop and do this individually. If we could, I would like to the board to vote on that as a motion to accept.
Okay. All right, you've heard the motion that we adopt this resolution concerning emergency medical services, Mecklenburg County. Any further discussion? Can you quote all those code sections you just read?
We thought he was.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Thank you so much for stopping me. Secondly, the resolution to authorize drafting of a memorandum of transition between the County of Mecklenburg and the rescue squads that provide the notice of cessation of operation. Whereas Mecklenburg County Life Savings and Rescue Squad was established in 1952 and Chase City Rescue Squad was established in 1968 to provide critical assistance to the people of Western Mecklenburg County. Whereas the Mecklenburg County Life Savings and Rescue Squad voted in December 2021 to cease operation effectively July 1st, 2023, and Chase City Rescue Squad voted in January 2022 to cease operation effectively July 1, 2023. Whereas in accordance to 15-2-955B of the Code of Virginia, Mecklenburg County is committed to the provision of emergency medical services within the county, and whereas they effectuate an orderly transition between the services presently operated by Mecklenburg County Life Saving and Rescue Squad, the Chase City Rescue Squad, and those to be provided by the county, its schedule of operational changeover is necessary. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Supervisors of the County of Mecklenburg, Virginia, that 1, the Board of Supervisors hereby finds it necessary for the County of Mecklenburg to establish and staff county-operated emergency medical service with said service to begin no later than July 1, 2023. 2, the county shall enter into an agreement to be known as a memorandum of transition with any rescue squad that provides the county with the notice of a cessation of operations to ensure that all the entities have been established framework to govern the process whereby the rescue squad terminates services and such services initiated and thereafter maintained by the county. 3, county administrators is hereby directed to negotiate the terms of the memorandum of transition with any rescue squad that provides the county with the notice of cessation of operations. And 4, the memorandum of transition should not be effective until the affirmative adoption by the Board of Supervisors at a subsequent full session of the board. I would like to put this as a motion to be received as well.
Okay, you've heard that motion to adopt the resolution drafting of a memorandum of transition. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Budget and Finance, Mr. Spain.
Good evening, members of the board. The Budget and Finance Committee met on Monday, March the 14th, 2022 at 4:15 p.m. in the Board of Supervisors meeting room. Member President, Glanza Spain, David Brinkley, Jim Jenny, Charles Jones, and Sterling Wilkerson. Also present, Glenn Barber, Anna Hargrove, Claudia London, Tom Towner, Wayne Carter, County Administrator, Judy Strutfield, Assistant County Administrator, Alec Gottschalk, Deputy County Administrator, Ed Taylor, Commissioner of Revenue, and Samuel Langford, Treasurer. The Chairman called the meeting to order. Mr. Mike Denton, Chairman of the Lake and Country Region Airport Commission, presented a request for Phase 4 funding of the runway improvement project. The total cost for this project is $1,384,875, which is a share of 20% cost of $576,695. The county has funded the 20% local share for other past phases. Then it requested the county to fund the project through the FY 22-23 capital budget. The committee discussed how this could accomplish and with the budget still over 2 months off. Upon the motion, Mr. Jones, the committee recommends support of the request of $309,000 in the FY 22-23 capital budget for the Phase 2 runway widening project. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to put it in the form of motion concerning the support the Phase 4 of the runway project, $309,000.
Okay, you've heard that motion. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Next, Ms. Christie Pfeiffer made a request for 3 supplemental appropriation due to increased funding in the FY 21 and 22 budget. First, the school system has received a VPS security grant for $192,000, which will be needed to add to the maintenance operations fund for cameras and new key locks. Upon the motion of Mr. Wilkerson, the committee voted unanimously to recommend the approval of the supplemental appropriation of $192,000 to the maintenance and operating fund for the school board project. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to put it in the form of motion of the $192,000.
Okay, you've heard that motion. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
The next school system has increased in their ADM approximately 492 students due to their partnership with the virtual school academic partner. The state is now paying this additional ADM, and the school board now must pay Virginia K through 12 Strive virtual program the funding. The total supplemental appropriation is $2,750,000 will be for the instruction category. Mr. Carter stated due to the size of the supplemental appropriation, it must be advertised at the budget amendment to the April board meeting. Upon the motion, Mr. Jones, the committee unanimously recommend taking this matter to the public hearing at the April board meeting for supervisor meeting. Chairman, I'd like to put it in the form of a motion to go to the public hearing.
Okay, you've heard that motion. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Finally, school system is requesting a supplemental appropriation of $2,896,143 to the federal grant category. They have received the remaining fund from ESSER2 CARES funding to cover the salary of 35 additional staff that was hired under the CARES Act. The temporary employee contract will expire September the 1st, 2024. Mr. Carter stated that these requests would also require the public hearing at the April board meeting. Upon the motion of Mr. Brinkley, the committee recommends to take this matter to public hearing in April board meeting. The chairman would like to put this in the form of motion to take for a public hearing in the April board meeting.
Okay, any discussion on that motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Carter presented a request for a supplemental appropriation of $5,500,000 to the economic stimulus grant to take the matter to the public hearing at the April board meeting. Upon the motion, Mr. Jones, committee unanimously recommend to take the matter to the public hearing at the April board meeting. The chairman, I put this in form of a motion for the $5,500,000 public hearing.
Any discussion on that motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Carter stated that the staff will advertise all 3 items at the budget amendment in April. Mr. John Taylor presented a request for a supplemental appropriation of $18,385 in CARES funding. This is final amount for the federal grant. For the motion, Mr. Brinkley, committee unanimously recommend this request to the full board. Chairman, I'll put it in form of motion, $18,385 for the CARES fund.
Okay, you've heard that motion. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Mr. Taylor presented a request from a supplemental appropriation of $700,000 in the ARPA fund due to the pandemic. Most of these funds have been used in the air pack for the fire department, as well as the 911 trailer. On the motion, Mr. Jones, the committee unanimously recommend the request to the full board. Mr. Chairman, I make this in the form of motion, there's $700,000 into the fire department for trailer and
Air packs.
air pack.
You've heard that motion. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Mr. Carter advised that the sheriff's department have received a check for the amount of $12,150.67 and $2,095.75 to cover the cost of damage to the sheriff's vehicle. On the motion, Mr. Jennings, the committee voted unanimously to recommend approval of the supplemental appropriation to the amount of $14,240.42 to the sheriff vehicle replacement line item. The chairman would like to put this in the form of a motion for damage to vehicle of $14,240.42.
Any discussion on that motion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
Mr. Carter advised that Michelle Gordon, clerk of the court, have requested a supplemental appropriation amount of $27,267 for additional funding receiving for the compensation board. She requesting these funds be appropriated to the Michael Femming line item. On the motion of Mr. Jennings, the committee voted unanimously to recommend a supplemental appropriation in the amount of $27,267 to the Michael Femming line item for the clerk office budget. The chairman put it in the form of motion of $27,267 for the Michael Femming line item.
Heard that motion. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
There being no further business, the meeting was adjourned. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You've been busy.
Yes. Spending money, moving money around.
All right, thank you, sir. Insurance Committee, Ms. Lundy.
Thank you. The Insurance Committee met on Monday, March the 14th, 2022, at 5:45 p.m. in the Board of Supervisors conference room of the Good Bank Building. Members present: Claudia Lundy, chairperson; David Brinkley, Andy Hargrove, and Charles Jones. Also present: Glenn Barber, Jim Jennings, Glancy Spain, Tom Tanner, Sterling Wilkerson, Wayne Carter, County Administrator, Judy Sheffield, Assistant County Administrator, Alex Gouchalk, Deputy County Administrator. Ms. Lundy called the meeting to order. Mrs. Sheffield reviewed the renewal proposal with local choice representative. We have received a renewal quote with an increase of 5.6%. The increase will be for the high deductible plan as well as the Key Care 500. There are no changes to the plans this year. Upon a motion of Mr. Brinkley, second by Mr. Jones, the committee voted to recommend approval of insurance renewal with local choice. There being no further business, the meeting was adjourned. Thank you.
I think you need to put that in the form of a motion.
Oh, I'm sorry. I would like to put this in the form of a motion that we will pay local choice the increase of 5.6% for the renewal for the county insurance.
All right, you've heard that motion. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. All right, thank you, ma'am. Economic Development,
All right.
Mr. Jones.
The Economic Development Committee met on Monday, March 14th, 2022 at 6 p.m. in the Board of Supervisors Meeting Room, Borden, Virginia. Members present: Charles Jones, Chairman; Glancy Spain, Jim Jennings, and Tom Tanner. Others present: Glenn Barber, Sterling Wilkinson, Claudia Lundy, Andy Hargrove, Wayne Carter, County Administrator, Judy Sheffield, Assistant County Administrator, and Alex Gotschalk, Deputy County Administrator. Chairman called the meeting to order. Mr. Carter advised that the bid opening was held on March 9, 2022 for the Hillcrest Campus Water Supply Contract, a 500,000-gallon elevated storage tank. The lowest bid was received by Caldwell Tanks Incorporated for a cost of $2,728,300. Upon a motion by Mr. Tanner, the committee voted unanimously to approve the contract with Caldwell Tanks Incorporated for the Hillcrest Campus Water Supply Contract, a $500,000 elevated storage tank for a cost of $2,728,300. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to put that in the form of a motion that we approve.
Okay. You've heard that motion. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. All right. We don't need to take up the minutes of the other committees that took no action, do we?
They're in closed session. We can do it at the very end if you want to, because there, no action was taken in either one of them. So it's up to you.
I see no point in, okay. All right. Okay, all right. All right, so that goes to you, Mr. Carter.
Yes, sir. You have the building permits in your packet. Any questions on those? It was down a little bit this month from a year ago. I think this is the first month we've been off some in well over a year. Zoning permits continue to be high and increasing. You've got the animal warden's report. We were able to adopt out over 80% of our dogs. We'll return them to the owners. Any questions on that? You got the sheriff's report. Number of traffic summons was 441 and another 89 in traffic. You got any questions on those tickets? Hearing none, you've got the sheriff's report for types of calls for the month. If you have any questions on those. Total of 2,623 calls were answered over the last month. You've got VDOT, Tommy Johnson's here. We're moving along too pretty quick, Tom.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. You were looking at your watch, I'm like, we haven't been here that long.
You know, we got a call, but anyway. Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. You have our monthly maintenance report in your packet. It's basically one of maintenance activities, pothole repairs, little pickup. The little pickup is ongoing now on Route 58. I only had a couple more things to share with you. The I-85 2/10 of a mile marker project has been completed in the northbound lane. All of them have been installed in the northbound, and they will be moving to the southbound lane to get those completed. So we're looking at, within 30 to 45 days, that project will be completed. And then the Route 92 bridge replacement project over Butcher's Creek, the contract has been awarded to Burley Construction Company, and that work will be starting very soon. We have a pre-construction meeting tomorrow, so after we get the construction schedule tomorrow, I'll be in contact with Wayne and county staff about that construction schedule. It does have a fixed completion date of June the 29th of 2023. And as we discussed a year ago, that will be a phased construction project. One lane will remain open at all times and be controlled by a temporary traffic signal. Right 92 at Butcher's Creek. That was all I had, unless you had any questions that you wanted me to follow up on.
Anybody got any questions?
I've got one.
Go ahead.
What's the current status on the Baskerville Road project as far as the lining, shoulders?
Right.
I know it's a hot topic every month.
Yeah, on the Baskerville Road, as we stated at the last meeting, we're waiting on the surface treatment schedule. That should be beginning any day, well, around the 1st of April. So once we get it surface treated, traffic engineers will look at it, not only look at putting the center lines on it, but delineating some of the curves and so forth. If you know, Mr. Wilkinson, you travel it, and we can't figure it out either. Some places got signs with a reduced speed limit on it. some of them don't. So we've already put the request in for traffic engineering to look at it, but we want to get the surface treatment on it first.
Okay.
So we'll communicate with Wayne.
Right.
So he can communicate with y'all. But the surface treatment, they started eradicating the pavement markings last week. So usually when they do that, it's not long before they start, and they're going to start in Mecklenburg.
Okay, appreciate it.
I know you have one project performing little patrol on various routes. We push tourism. Know it's an old issue. Having new ideas how we can better control, litter control. People throw stuff out. Anything you can come up with?
I wish I had the solution to that problem, Mr. Spain. It costs us a lot of money also, and as you know, we don't have inmate labor anymore, so, you know, we're having to use a contractor, you know, to pick it up. So, I mean, what I tell everybody else is we just got to keep preaching it. I ain't preach it, and we need to teach the younger people, you know, not to litter, because some of them were just brought up to throw it out, you know.
Yeah.
Wonderful question on that. Do you think, do you have any idea of when the work crews will be released again from Camp 4?
No, sir. We're meeting with them once a month trying to get a date, and they give us a date. Then when that approaches, they say we can't do it, we got to move it back. So
I just want to thank you.
yeah, we've been meeting with them, you know, monthly since January, and you know they told us maybe February, but then February got here, they told us maybe March. But we're supplementing it, Wayne. I mean, like we discussed.
I know that. I just,
You know, we're probably getting more done with the contractor. But we'll keep you in the loop. All right? Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Charles.
I was just going to say thank you for coming to where 15 and 58 bypass and business come together.
Have you noticed
Intersection
any
Clarkson.
improvement?
Yeah, I noticed that the yellow lines are extended further out, so people know they got to go down further before they turn. And I think you did the other side a little bit too.
Yeah, both sides.
And I think it's, cross my fingers, it's going to work.
And we refurbished the rumble strips too.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if you know, we had an incident up there last Friday.
No.
I don't think that had anything to do with it. Somebody hit the pole that controlled the flashing beacons and knocked the beacons out, but they got it going late Friday night.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Tommy, I guess the hot topic in my district is the stretch of 660 from Greenmore Road to Ridge Road, and I realize y'all are there every day doing what you can do, but I guess the long-term plan is what I'm maybe
It's
looking to find
long-term.
out, to see how good that road's gonna be after all this is said and done.
Definitely, we're working on long-term plans. I talked to Mr. Carter the other day. You know, we're talking, and we got plans to make permanent repairs once they finish. We're in constant contact with them, but we can't do any permanent things now.
Sure you can.
What we're trying to do now is just maintain the road and keep it safe and passable for everybody, the traveling public and the truckers. And then if that includes working on the weekends, we'd work a few weekends, you know, to make it safe. But, I mean, we got a good relationship with the firm that's doing the work. You know, they're telling us when they're going to be there and when they're not, because it's hampering their movement also. But, yeah.
Yeah, and I realize that, but, you know, probably the biggest safety issue would be at nighttime when maybe somebody's traveling through there. They don't realize that. And I know y'all got signs up and that kind of thing, but maybe you need some big billboard flashing signs.
Well, he's got the billboard.
Well, we got
on both ends. And I've had a call from somebody who went through there, and she'd driven a mile before she realized it was under construction. And I'm not sure how she got from Ridge Road to the other side of the creek and didn't realize that the road was somewhat damaged along the way. But she said she had no idea until there. So I'm not really positive.
Yeah, it's just you manage damage right now, and I do realize that. And every time I go through there, y'all out there trying to do something and fix it and repair it and all that. Right. So, you know, if you can keep that up, because I know.
Well, yeah, we're gonna keep that up. I mean, you know, I got approval to work as long as we need to work. you know, as long as we.
Okay.
If, well, you know, as long as we got the money.
Sure.
You know.
Sure.
And we're working on a long-term solution like mid-May, you know, mid-April, mid-May. It just depends on when they finish. You know, they gave us one date. Now they're saying it may be middle part of April before they finish.
So another month.
Yes, sir.
Which is roughly what they told us when we asked in the beginning. It was sometime, we were in the first week of February, and they said 60 days. And you gotta figure in rain days on top of it. That's gonna push it back every time they don't holiday. That's every day they'll figure on that.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to bring it up.
Yeah, that's fine.
It
That's
is.
fine. But this, I know this week they called us on one of those rainy days that didn't work, and I don't think they worked Saturday. You know, but some Saturdays they have. But we got our finger on the pulse. But if you see anything, let us know.
I don't know that you can do more than you do, and you got crews there digging up and putting rock in every day that I've been through there. So just continue, hopefully.
We'll keep weighing up this
Yeah.
date here and see what help we can get from the county. It's all like what you did on the other part of Old Trotts and Ridge Road and some down the road. You know, we're gonna get a good base there. You know, but
maybe you can get in your budget just from Highway 47 out to 92 here to completely redo that road and all this is doing. Mr. Brankley?
Yeah.
Can I go?
See, we got his approval right there. It didn't even take much to get it.
He said he had extra money.
well, everybody's looking. Y'all know that. You know, but we're looking. We've been talking to the high ups. We got another meeting on it tomorrow, so I might know more.
Yeah, I know me and Miss Sheffield drive over here and anybody else, you got to have a new car about every 18 months and put a new front end.
Well, Tommy, the question, if we know a project like that is coming 6 months ahead of time, is it anything we can do? I mean, y'all can do some ahead of time, you know, to prevent
If we
this?
had 6 months, I mean, but we didn't have it 2 weeks.
Right.
Yeah, that's all any of us know.
I mean, we were notified 2 weeks, and the only reason we were notified because they needed a entrance permit.
Well, I know that another project's getting ready to happen in Chase City, Mr. Carter. You know, I mean,
Down the road
and
about another year.
we need to have a plan before those trucks hit that road up there.
I think we need to get ahead of this thing beforehand.
Yeah,
And
that's what we
somebody
were.
notify us where we can let you know.
Yeah, we would love to know that. It was some stuff we could have done to strengthen some of it, but look, y'all know these roads are not made for that. They are secondary roads that the wagons used to go over. You know, there's no base to it. You know, I mean, we're digging up mud, you know, and putting back number 3s and 57 stones. So, and that's not wasted because that's what we plan on doing is, you know, reclamation. And putting
Will you
salt.
completely tear that road up and do
Yeah.
that when they finish? That'd be good. Yeah, you know, outside of Chase City, when that starts, we need to formulate a plan right now because you're gonna have traffic up there too.
We are open for whenever you find out, whatever you got, you know, I know it's a lot of hearsay.
Well, you'll
but
stay. I know you'll stay on top of that.
He'll let us know.
Main entrance on that we're working for is off of 92. So that'll be construction and ongoing operation.
Okay.
The same thing coming out on 92. After it goes on 92, it can't control it.
Sure.
But that's what
Yeah,
our
but if
goal
they go
is.
on Skipworth Road at all, they're gonna do the exact same thing they doing on 660 here.
But Russell and I, the main entrance is to be on 92, not on Butler Farm Road. We're getting them off of that to the other.
Okay.
Any concerns, you got our number. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Yeah, and I keep weighing up to date on it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next I have no wake zone. 2 years ago, you all approved a no wake zone in Hawtree Creek. We put in 5 buoys. You got in your board packet. They came back to Department of Game and Fisheries with a request for a 6th buoy on there, and you can see where it's at. They felt like people were coming out, seeing a stretch where there was no buoys, and because of the placement, and they took off again. Then by the time they cleaned up and got flying, they hit another no wake buoy. So they are putting in another request, and the DGIF has approved that request for the 6th buoy.
All right.
Okay, finally, you have a request from the planning district on B Street, Phase 1 for the county to donate the building permit fees for an estimated cost of $950. This is a project in the town of Chase City for a rehab project. Staff is requesting that you authorize the signing and the waiver of those building permit fees.
All right, so we need a motion then to authorize staff to waive those building permit fees.
Yes, sir.
My motion, we, authorize staff to waive the building fees.
Well, you've heard the motion in discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. All right, Alex, redistricting.
So in December, you, the board, directed staff to develop a redistricting plan. And our original goal was to return to the board at this meeting with a full set of draft proposals. However, in the intervening time, we have encountered some new information that has altered our timeline and has required the presentation that you're going to have this evening. Based on the response to submissions by some of the counties that are north of here, well, I guess every county's north of here in Virginia, but towards the Richmond area, the Virginia Department of Elections sent out in mid-February a reminder of some new policy guidance as a result of some laws that were enacted in the last couple of years. And upon further research and review, we've realized that the changes are so substantial that we have to alter the process of how we're going to draft these maps. So hence tonight, we are going to start the process by focusing on the town of South Hill. Essentially, the issues at play are twofold. First, the Virginia Department of Elections will no longer grant any requests by local governments to split precincts. And so that has been the result of an issue that arose in 2017 during the House of Delegates race in the Stafford County, Fredericksburg area. There was an incident where voters were assigned to the wrong precinct and thus the wrong election district, and the amount of voters at play there were greater than the margin of result in that race. And so after that, the General Assembly decided to change how they treat split precincts, and so has the Department of Elections. So therefore, we can't do what we did 10 years ago, which was be able to go into certain areas and take census blocks out of them and assign them to different districts. Where this comes into play in the case of Mecklenburg County the most is in the town of South Hill. Because also what has happened is the Virginia General Assembly has decided that there is to be no more local town elections in the month of May, and that all local elections should be in November, which is a statewide policy now because it was a general law that was enacted. And as a result, you may have seen in this session of the General Assembly, several of the towns here in this county have had their charters changed to comport with the new state law. The Virginia Department of Elections guidance is that if a town election is held in November, then they are to be done with the county precincts and the county polling places. Previously, May elections, the town could have their own precincts and their own polling places, locations. The combination of these two means that our election districts and the town wards have to be lined up. We can no longer go into a town ward and pull any portions of that ward out and put them into a different district. A ward has to stay together in a district. Now, you could have more than one ward in a district, and the wards themselves could be in different districts. However, no ward itself can be broken up, which is something that has happened in redistricting in the past here in Mecklenburg. Because of those two items, we do have to go ahead and address how we want to draw South Hill before we can draw the rest of the map. The reason for this is because if you're looking at South Hill, you've got 3 wards. You've got the ward that would be the northeastern part of the town, so the hospital on down to about Hotspot Grill, where those banks are on the right-hand side. That ward, and then there's a center ward that goes east past Franklin Street and goes west to about where Marino's Pizza is, and then goes north up Mecklenburg. Those 2 wards themselves constitute together more population than one of our electoral districts is. So they cannot be paired together because they would be too great of a population, even with the 5% in excess of our ideal target population of 3,368 people. So then there is the 3rd ward in the southern part of South Hill. The center and the southern ward together equal about 2,900 people. So those 2 could be paired if we wanted to. Because of these constraints, we really can't draw the rest of the map until we adjudicate South Hill, because we need to determine, a placement of an entire district based on how we do South Hill, and then the ripple cascading effects of that are going to influence how we draw pretty much the entirety of the eastern side of the county. So what we're going to do tonight is we are going to focus a little bit on the options that are available in South Hill, and I'm hoping that at the end of the night, the board will issue us a directive for which of the options, and there are 4, you'd best like to see, so that way we can go back and draw the rest of the county's map. So if we go to the first option, yes?
Question. How many people are we looking at for each of these wards? I think you said 2,800.
So the wards themselves all have different populations. The issue at play for us would be the combination of the wards, because the combination, if you combine the 2 northernly wards, they would be too great for a district, so we can't draw them together. So we could either, and we'll go through the options, they have the various ones, but in some, we could either draw the middle and the southern one together as the basis for a district, and those 2 together would have about 2,900 people, or we could draw all 3 wards separately and they would be the basis of districts, but together is the issue.
All right, next question I have. How many have we normally had in our districts, the 2 South Hill districts? How many people?
We would have had whatever, roughly what the ideal district size was, which...
I don't think they're the same, because like Spain district probably has always been larger than ones downtown. I want to know the number of people that...
We were taking the 32,000 population last time and divided by 9. That gives you your optimum. Then you can go up and down 5%. So let's say that was 3,500. I'll just pull a number out evenly. Then you can go down up and down 175. That's the maximum. Right now, your optimum is about 3,300. Okay.
It's 3,368, yeah.
Okay.
But people,
so you probably lost about 250 bodies in each one of the districts, because we lost over 2,000 individuals through the whole census.
Okay, so that's saying about 500, because he was saying 2,800 if he joined 2 districts together, 2 wards, I believe, 28 and 2,900 people.
Between 28 and 29, if you chose an option that contained the center and the southern ward of South Hill together. So that would be, then you would have to go find a couple hundred other people around South Hill to join into with those 2 wards to form a district.
Okay, I see now.
Yeah.
I see where you're going. Okay.
Okay. So we, like I said, we have 4 options. 2 of the options are basically how we decided to do the options was to focus on District 5 and play off District 5's location. So in option A, District 5 remains in the heart of South Hill.
That's Barbara.
Yes, that's correct. And so in this option, the center and the southern ward would stay together. They would be in District 5. and then the northeastern ward toward the hospital would go into District 4. Right now, it's part of District 5. And District 3 would come north and pick up some of the territory towards 85 that's currently in District 5. The rest of the 85 corridor would be in District 4.
Okay, let me stop you one more time. Okay, Barber is the center of town and
Yes.
south of town.
In this option, yes.
That's the option I'm saying, yeah.
Correct.
Okay. So District 4 is center
District 4 would be in this option would be the northeastern ward
or northeast, okay.
around the hospital.
Okay, all right, keep going.
Okay, so this is the first option. The second option uses the same construct for District 5. The difference would be District 3 would come in and take that northeastern ward, and then District 4 would loop north of District 3, pick up all of the 85 corridor, which is currently in District 5. So that would be the difference between this one and the previous one, but both of these two are predicated on District 5 remaining in town, in the heart of town. So then options C and D together move District 5 to the outskirts, to the northeastern ward and the outskirts of South Hill. So right now, this is territory that is in District 5. District 5 goes from the county line through the 85 corridor back into the heart of South Hill. In this option, it drops the center of South Hill, but remains an easterly district. Correspondingly, the other two town wards would unite in District 4 in this option. Although we haven't drawn the rest of it, the end result of this would be District 4 would retreat quite a bit from its currently District 4 has two kind of like wings down the side, one this way and one this way coming out of South Hill. It would retreat from most of that territory in this option because of the density of the population of the town itself. And then the fourth option keeps District 5 in that easterly direction, puts the center ward of South Hill into District 4, and would push District 3 all the way into the town and pick up that whole southern portion of South Hill. Of course, the result of this would be District 3 would then retreat from the lakes area and come up more towards Bracy and potentially, even short of that, would be the result of gaining all the population in the southern part of town. So these are really the four options for South Hill. So we'll pause there to see if the board has any input.
Go back to option A, please.
Print these out and hand them out.
They need to take them home and study.
That seems.
That's option.
A, that's the first.
To me, A seems the closest. I'm
Yeah.
not saying any one of them is right, but A seems closer to what it is now.
That's what I'm thinking.
In part, so A would retain obviously the residency of our chair, but in the current maps, District 5 goes from that center part of South Hill eastern. So the whole eastern portion of this map would be not the same as what we currently have in place. This would actually put District 5 into more of a southern direction than is current. I would actually say that probably if you're going on that line of thinking that option C is probably closer to our current maps than.
Go to C again, and let's look at that.
Of course, the one difference would be in, the residency of our chair would no longer be in that district, but aside from that.
The center's kind of split now, would you agree?
Yes,
Alex?
yeah.
So now you're putting it into one, but
Right.
you currently have that upper part and Ms. Lundy has the lower part. So what we're doing is taking out that split of 4 was what Alex is showing you on this one. And that's probably, like he said, that's the closest to what you've got now. except for the center part.
And that's, of course, that's the issue with the split precinct, right? Before, we could just go in there, break up the center ward, and put it where it needed to be to have all those districts the same. We can't do that anymore. Now, as you can see, it has to be all in one district or another district. We can't break that up.
So saying if I have option C, I'm number 4, District 4.
Yes, ma'am.
And I know the person, Fagans has number 1, Ward, okay? So
Which would be the
I would
southern
take in
one.
all of her ward,
Yes,
right?
correct.
Okay, plus if I need some more people, I get to reach out somewhere, where am I gonna reach to?
It would be north towards the northern part of the county where you currently have the district.
It'd be up further north.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have Ward 1. That's Fagans, okay, Ward 1 plus north.
Plus this, you would have in this option, you would have the southern ward, the center ward, and then come north this way.
Have 2 wards?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know who the center ward is. Okay, center ward, okay, hold on, center. Center ward, Ward 1. That's down, well, center ward is downtown.
Yes.
That is Fagans area. That is the center ward.
Downtown is split into 2 different wards.
And one is, got the lady, I can't think right now, okay.
It's split as Atlantic transcends through town. That's where the split between the 2 wards are.
So I'm gonna have some of both of those, I think I'd have all in one ward.
You would have both of them in this
You're
I
map.
got both of the wards, okay.
You're moving significantly into the town of South Hill.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm having both wards.
I'm about to move to Lake
And if I don't get enough people.
We got some nice houses.
If I don't get enough people, I gotta go north, right?
Right. Yes.
Okay.
You would retain that area that you currently have now.
More like, Big Fall?
All the territory that you have now, you would keep most of that.
Yeah, I know, because I talked with her, yeah.
Mhm.
But I mean, I need some extra people though.
Yes, you would need about 300 more people.
Yeah, I need some more people. Where am I getting them from?
From the part of the district that you currently still have, it would still stay in your district. To the northern part of it, it would stay in your district.
Okay.
And that would be the difference.
Okay, I just wanna know where I'm getting other people from.
You're probably heading back to your house, Ms. London.
Yeah.
So- Okay.
Going back on 47, that block, when you agree, Alex?
Yeah,
going
yeah.
back
That's
there.
west then, South Hill.
Northwest.
Yeah.
Northwest, okay.
Yes.
If that helps you, because you're gonna
Okay,
lose
yeah.
everything south of South
So
Hill.
all of these options meet the population requirement for a district, is that correct?
Yes. Some of them will have to add, some bodies here and there, and some of the lines will have to get altered a bit outside of, right, the point of this was to draw the wards. We didn't make all of the districts equal 3368. We just wanted to make sure all the wards could have a home. But like in this map, District 5 is just about what the population would be. There might be a census block here and there that gets moved, but generally speaking, this would be the District 5 in this map. But that District 4 would be what you would see, but District 4 wouldn't be the whole of this.
It's a whole lot to digest.
Look back to 1 again. I mean, to 8.
Okay.
I'm kind of leaning toward A, Ms. Lundy. I don't know about you.
I want to keep my people I got, so I have to stay with C. I get to stay with C.
Does this affect any of the polling places?
It would not affect the polling places because as long as they're within a mile of the where the physical place would need to be within a mile of the precinct. And so all of these are within a mile of each other. So yeah, we're good.
So it's just a whole lot to digest in a short order. I mean, if y'all are
Yeah.
trying to get to something.
If not, we can come back.
I mean, we can always push our timeline another month out, if you need more time to make a decision.
From my point of view, be good to be able to sit down and look at these and
like overlay them or something.
Well, just to figure out, because like you said, you're moving some big shifts on some of them.
Yeah.
Especially option, D.
Yeah.
Well, if you think this is a big shift, I hate to break it to you, but the rest of the map's going to be quite a bit more.
And trying to do all
All right,
the
can we
rest of the
just, can we table it then until next month?
Yes, we can. If you go to the last slide, so this was one more. So this was the anticipated timeline, but that's why I use the word anticipated, was because of an instance where it got pushed. This is kind of what we're thinking. Now, we're not in a rush, so we're not having an election under these lines till 2023. So we do have time to be able to go through a process, a thoughtful process that is fully considered. If we push all of these, it's just going to push the dates listed on this slide a month, so no big deal. But what we're thinking is once we determine South Hill, then we can go back, draw the rest of the maps for the county, give probably 4 or 5 options for the whole county, present those, whatever the next month is, secede in your decision on South Hill. Then the month after that, take public comments, both from the board and the public on those draft maps. What do you like one of them better? Do you like components of them? Take those comments, put them together. Either we could have one map that wins out, or we could have a combination of maps, but we'd have one draft final map. Here it's in June, maybe it's July, whatever it might be. And then after that, have a public hearing on that final plan, and then have your adoption. And then we'll submit it to the Office of the Attorney General for their review. They have up to 2 months to consider it. If they don't render a decision within 2 months, then it's deemed to be effectively approved. They might take faster or slower. We really don't know how the current office is going to handle these. They really haven't had a lot of them to date. The prior Office of the Attorney General did nix at least one county's plan when they went up for submission. So, but we've had a change in administration since then, so we really don't know.
One question I was going to ask you, I think you said at the beginning that the town election maps have to mirror the county precincts. Is that correct? The wards. The wards?
They have to use our polling places and our polling precincts in a November election, yes.
Because I just knew that, I think town of South Hill has an election coming up in November of this year.
Yes, but they can use the current ones.
Okay, so
Yeah.
they can do that.
Yeah.
One other thing y'all might want to consider is having another meeting in 2 weeks. Yeah, I'll send this out to y'all and just have this as your agenda item. Because this is something y'all really need to think about, and that way you don't lose a whole month. And then we can kind of come back maybe in a few more weeks. You might have to have additional meetings just on this. And that would be something that I think y'all should consider, just as an option. What do you think, Alex?
Sounds good.
If that's the pleasure of the board, certainly we're open to that, yeah.
I mean, this is going to take a while, even if y'all all just sit here and talk.
Right.
It's an easy to lose an hour or two on just this one topic. And I think y'all need to, because this is going to last the next 10 years. Y'all need to take your time on this and make sure where everybody's at. So that would just be a suggestion.
I think that's fine.
I'd like to see us table it for 2 weeks. Yeah.
We can adjourn the meeting to y'all pick up 9 people
Yeah.
before we leave.
Okay.
That's fine.
All right. Thanks, Alan. It's kind of like a jigsaw puzzle, isn't it?
Absolutely. Listen, I was not as pleased as anybody else when I saw some of those changes, because
He's exiting. So.
It's his fault.
I had a bunch of good plans that considered a whole bunch of different options, gave you a lot of choice, and then all that work went
Was this
went into
Wayne trying to find something for you to do? Get you interested? Instead of doing it himself.
Thinking on it.
Bless him, he came at the perfect time.
Yeah.
And Jason is no longer in our budget.
Perfect job.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate all your efforts on
And,
this.
and Alex has done a ton of work on this. He had about 7 different maps for you set up originally. He had it a lot more succinct and everything else. And then Jason came forward and went, when he went to talk to the state about getting our variance again, and they said, "Oh, we're not doing those anymore." It threw a whole new wrinkle. He walked to my office and said, "A month, just gone." Okay. So,
Start over again.
All right. Okay. Moving on. We have some appointments we need to take care of tonight. Ms. Michelle Edmonds has resigned from the Mecklenburg County Planning Commission. Her term expires August 2025. That is my district. And I think you all had in your packet a resume
Yes.
on Mr. Randy Crocker.
Yes, I did.
And so at this time, I would like to put forth the name of Mr. Randy Crocker to replace Mrs. Michelle Edmonds on the Mecklenburg County Planning Commission. Anybody else have any other
Districts are
nominations?
they by the county?
Ma'am?
Tried, they're appointed by districts or by county?
By the district.
I think he'd be excellent.
All right, I guess it's appropriate for me to make a motion and call for a vote, Mr. Sladen.
That's right.
All right, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. He will be an outstanding member of our planning commission.
Good. We're sound.
All right, now we've got this issue of the, with the Southside Planning District Commission. They've changed their bylaws, and Mecklenburg County will now be represented by only 5 members. There's 3 elected officials and 2 citizens at large. We presently have 8 members serving on the Planning Commission. So we're going down to 5. So we obviously need to keep 3 elected officials, who at this time are Mr. Tanner, Mr. Spain, Mr. Jones, and Mr. Hargrove. So either one of you gentlemen wish to resign?
It
That's fine with
doesn't
me.
matter to me. I mean.
It's down to me and Andy, really.
Mr. Jones was discussing it, and we were talking which one that was willing to leave. He had tears in his eyes, so I just.
And he's agreed to do all the Thursday night ball practices for me.
Right.
Taking Aiden to ball practice.
Are you comfortable with that, Mr. Hargrove?
I'm comfortable with it.
You sure? Mr. Jones, you comfortable with that?
Well, I am on the Economic Development Committee, so I guess I want to stay.
All right, so that means we'll have Mr. Tanner, Mr. Spain, and Mr. Jones serving as the 3 elected officials. Do we need to vote on all this, Mr. Carter?
yes, sir, you're going to have to make a vote on the 5 that you're appointing.
All right, so we're down.
Well, let's go ahead and vote on the 3 elected officials. Anyone want to make a motion that we accept those 3 elected officials to serve?
So move, Mr. Chairman.
You've heard the motion. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Hargrove, for your consideration. Okay, next we have 2 citizens at large we need to appoint. Presently, outside of our staff people on serving, we have Mr. M.J. Colgate Jr. and Mr. Charlie Simmons are the 2 citizens outside of staff. So then the other 2 staff people are Mr. Carter and Ms. Kellett. So we need to make a decision on how we're going to represent those 2 citizens at large. Anybody got any thoughts on that?
I'll gladly step down. Doesn't make me any difference. I work at the pleasure of y'all.
Well, the thing about it is, keep in mind that these meetings are still, anybody can attend these meetings. They're public. So, I mean, it's not like, they're shutting the door and you can't come in anymore kind of a thing.
I was just appointed last year. They had the 3 county administrators that got appointed as citizens at large, but I've only been on 4 years, so I'm happy to step off. I've only been there for a year, but that's up to you.
Yeah, and I think when she was working with trying to get the county administrators on there, it was just to make sure that they were working together with the planning commission and they knew what was going on in the counties. The county administrators knew what they were doing and that type stuff, but.
Endeavor has a call with us each quarter, all 3 county administrators separately, to go over any projects, et cetera. So like I said, I don't have an issue stepping aside at all, sir.
Ms. Kelly, you got any issue with stepping down?
No, I meet with her regular anyway on projects and help with the sets, so.
If that's the case, Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we reappoint M.J. Colgate Jr. and Charlie Simmons as the two citizens at large.
Okay. You've heard that motion. Any discussion on that motion?
Craig, did you get in the email, Mr. Carter from Mr. Simmons or Mr. Colgate?
No, sir. No one, I haven't spoken to them to
I
see if
don't
they
even-
want to continue serving
I
or
don't know
not.
if anybody's even.
And if
They even know
for some reason they come back and
this-
say they're not
Well,
willing to, we can.
they know because they were at the board when we voted to make
Yes.
these changes. So everyone knows
And they
that
were
there's
set
going to
the
be a
minutes.
reduction in the number of bodies.
So Charles and MJ come to the meetings pretty regular?
Yes,
Yeah.
they do.
I'm good with that.
All right. So all in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so we have Mr. Tanner, Mr. Spain, Mr. Jones, Mr. Charlie Simmons, and Mr. M.J. Colgate will represent Mecklenburg County on the Southside Planning District Commission. Okay, excellent. All right, you have in your packet the consent calendar. If there are no questions concerning that, the chair would entertain a motion to adopt the consent calendar as presented.
Chairman, motion to adopt the consent calendar as presented.
You've heard that motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Okay, board member matters.
I'll pick on you tonight, Mr. Jones. You can go first.
Well, I'm just glad that all that money that we were looking at earlier, that it's not coming out of my pocket, because I ain't got it. Just want to keep the people in Ukraine on our prayers, and it's a devastating situation, and it just, every day, it just troubles me to see it on the TV, and I don't know what the answer is. Well, I do, but my answer. But it's just something that we need to pray about, and be with Alex and them as they come trying to get this redistricting straight. And that's about it for me.
Thank you. Mr. Wilkins?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I echo what Mr. Jones said. It's just a terrible situation over there. You feel helpless about it, but all you really can do is pray. Trust in the good Lord for that situation. And I didn't have much, but I'm thankful that we are able to, have the ability to take over the 2 rescue squads. That's something to say about our county for our prior leadership and our ability to do that. I know it's going to be a very large undertaking, obviously, but I'm very confident in our EMS leadership, our county leadership. I know it's something that we can certainly handle. So I think we're in a good position going forward with that. That's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Hargrove?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think we was looking at this EMS and fire rescue 5 years ago, knowing that it was gonna happen. And now the transition is here. And so, but we have to be to the point that we're competitive and initiate incentives because of the demand for them. So, and again, I pray that things will work well. We, as going through a transitional period, I think we're going to do better than most counties that we've talked to. And so we're trying to duck some of the mud holes so that we won't get wet and dirty in the transition. But I think that we're going to come out victorious afterwards.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Jennings?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank Mr. Hargrove for when we lost the polling place in my district, and Wayne had called and told me about it. And I reached out to him, and he got with his church congregation, and they came up with a plan to make that a polling place right there, which is only 2 miles down the road, which it really worked out really well. So we want to thank that church congregation for that opportunity for the county there. We need to have an ag committee meeting. I don't know what day suits y'all. I just looked at the calendar. And our board meeting in April was on the 11th of April. We can do it that night. We can do it the next night, whenever Judy can get a place for us to have it.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if y'all want to do it then, or do it in May. When?
You said the 11th?
You want to pick a date?
No, I mean, you said y'all's meeting is it?
No. I said that, I just said would be a good date, maybe, possibly.
Okay.
Monday night is a hard night on a restaurant. It's not
Hard
many
night,
restaurants
okay.
open anymore
We'll,
on Monday night.
I guess we'll pick a date, maybe get some options and shoot you, send out an email. And
So you're thinking April? Is that what you're saying?
what do you think, Sterling?
I'd say so.
April, yeah. Yeah, April would be good, hopefully. And just echoing what everybody else has said, it's a, you know, terrible situation going on in the world. I hope it has some kind of resolve that helps those people over there in Ukraine. You know, I feel for the people in this country too, that they're going through different economic times than we've seen in quite a while. So hopefully everything comes together. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Frank?
Well, yeah, again, Ukraine, I just, you know, the images and stuff you see of that just kind of really comes to your heart to see those little kids and stuff like that. If you got grandkids and stuff to see, you know, in 30 days, you know, I think sometimes we take for granted what we got here, but 30 days ago, those people were doing just like we were. They were living in a free country and all, and how that changes. So it could happen to any of us. It could happen to us even in our personal life and stuff like that and all. But like to thank Alex for all the work he's doing. You know, Alex coming here the last 3 or 4 months, you've kind of fit right in real well. I mean, we really appreciate you're an asset to this county. I can tell you that and do that. Mr. Jennings, you're talking about the polling place. Did you know that Mr. Hargrove has a all-day service there every Tuesday?
Well, I haven't been, but I knew he had one.
Had to be an angle.
I'm good.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Lundy?
Okay, first of all, I would like to thank Ms. Sheffield for looking into the insurance for me. And because of the COVID and the inflation, I think that 5.6% was a very good quote that she got from the insurance adjuster. And the only increase that each individual household would have would be $3.80 more added, so that's pretty good. $3.80 added, and they get the same benefits, which is really good. Also, we are having a joint education committee meeting here Thursday night, March the 17th at 5 to 6 o'clock with the superintendent, and he will bring guests with him. To the redistricting, I hope we work out something this fair and equitable, because you weren't in this county and maybe you read about it. We had to go to court to get 3 districts, black districts. Everybody in there wasn't a black, and we still want to keep that. So when you're working on your redistricting, think about that, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Tanner?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, I'm glad to see the county offices back open. I know Wayne and them have worked hard. Thank you to the staff, all y'all have had to endure. Alex, I pity you on this redistricting, I'm sorry. And nobody wants to take it on, but I'm glad that you were delegated to do it. Also, too, what we've talked about with Ukraine, it's amazing what goes on in other parts of the world and how blessed we are. You can look in the newspaper here and see everything that our emergency services people are doing here in the county. In the last week, we've had Officer Blanton and his dog Reba track down another fugitive. We've had a hazmat incident with a propane tractor trailer on the interstate. And I mean, most of those people are volunteering and they were out there all day. Of course, along with structure fires and accidents and everything. And of course, taking on the EMS, it's going to be a tremendous undertaking, but I think we're well prepared for it. John's doing an amazing job getting ready for that, and I'm glad y'all are visiting some other places to see what mistakes have been made in the past. Also, too, the General Assembly passing the bill to ban they call it the Carolina squat. I hate that it took the death of a citizen of our county for this to come about, but I'm glad that it's happened, and I'm glad that it's gotten passed. And the only other thing I had, Alex had sent us kind of a list of some of the appointments that the governor would be making before long. And 2 of the appointments that he's got to make are to the Tobacco Commission, and they have to be from Southside growers. And I'd just like for us to think about it before the next meeting. I've spoken to Mr. Jennings and Mr. Wilkerson and different ones, and I just think the volume of influence that committee has when it comes to sharing money with and doling out money with the rural areas, I think if we're able to try to put a person on that committee or at least put a name forward, because if we don't try to put one forward from this area, they're going to put somebody on the committee. So I just feel maybe by next meeting, if we could think about it and maybe try to bring somebody that we think would be a good member of that committee, because I think Alex was going to check on some things too, but I just feel we need to try to put somebody from our area
I agree.
in it. And that's really all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Do you think that'd be feasible in the next 2 weeks to submit those names?
Possibly. I mean, if anybody's got any suggestions, if they want to just contact Alex. But I think it's important. I mean, it's narrowed down to a Southside producer. And of course, it's got to go through the General Assembly and everything else. But like I said, if we don't put a name forward, somebody else is going to put one forward. So I just feel it's important enough we should do something.
Agree. Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Spain?
Yes, Mr. Chairman of the board, as I mentioned, tourism is important for the county. And if all of us can come up with ideas to how can we work on this litter control trash, it will help. People ride through the county, look bad when you see the roads that look real, real junky. So that's all of us can be involved in that. And the Ukraine issue is a problem. It hurts me to think of it, how it is a global effect and will affect our food chain. Yes, it will, because they grow a lot of wheat, a lot of grain. And we follow a budget. I think the board is planning to address all the issues and not raise taxes this year. That can be great. There's a great demand on the board. I think the board is capable of handling the issues, the expenses, and the income. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you. I want to thank Mr. Spain for filling in and chairing the board in my absence last month. My wife couldn't believe Wayne Carter would schedule a board meeting on Valentine's Day. I'm just kidding. That's not true. That was something we had planned a long time ago. Anyway, and on this Ukraine thing, don't want to beat this dog. We were talking before our meeting tonight about the fact that this is going to affect the world. It's a global impact that's going to, coming out of this situation. And so just keep the whole world in your prayers as far as this Ukraine situation. And hopefully it'll be resolved soon and without any further loss of life or property. And so anyway, that's all I have. Anyone else have anything to bring before the board tonight? Thank all you folks for coming tonight. We're, glad to see you all out there. And
You'll need to set a date to adjourn this meeting to, so that we can add anything else to the agenda if you wanted to on that one, so you wouldn't be a called meeting. So if you could all look at your calendars, 2 weeks will be the week of the 28th. Then
I'm fine with the 28th.
Then it's up to you all when you want to meet in that evening.
Prior to that.
28th.
I can do the 28th.
But didn't you say Monday nights are hard? Or are we talking about during the day?
Well, I mean, it depends. What she was saying was getting a restaurant that's open is difficult at night if you're having like a catered meal like what she was talking about for the Ag Committee.
Not
Not
for
for
this.
this.
I mean,
Not
bringing
for-
here,
this-
I'm talking about if we went to a
Right.
restaurant.
That's
The
what she's
28th
saying.
would be for the,
For the ag.
That's what,
Yeah.
that's what we
For
want.
the
That was you meant.
redistricting.
For the redistricting.
District, and he's talking about the
Right.
redistricting.
Yeah, but he was saying,
I mean,
I thought it was bad. I said, no, that was just for
Yeah.
catered dinners.
28th works for me.
Yeah, it's Monday to 28th.
What time do y'all want to meet that evening? I'm guessing because I know a couple of y'all probably going to be busy during the day.
Actually, the 28th.
Okay.
But the
Well, how's the
29th?
29th looking?
29th, I'm fine with.
Okay, Alex is not here, so that's really going to be bad as a presentation.
Okay.
Yeah, 28th and 29th is going to be out.
Well, what about the 30th?
I can't do the 30th. I can
The
do
30th.
the 31st.
How's the 31st looking? I know Robert's got a planning commission meeting. We'd have to meet in the back, or we can meet earlier before his 7:30 meeting. We could meet like, let's say, either like 5:30. That'll give us a couple hours to get
Hour and a
done.
half.
Huh?
Hour and a half.
Yeah, we'd want to get out by 7, so it's either 5 or 5:30. Y'all can meet at 5.
31st.
31st works for me.
31st at 5.
What is that? What day?
It's a Thursday.
That'd be fine.
Thursday night?
Planning commission meets that night?
Yes, sir.
Just say.
So I'd recommend to make sure you have enough time, we meet at 5,
Yeah.
because that way we'll have 2 hours to make sure. I mean, I think you'd be done in an hour and a half. I would hope you would. It's 5:30. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So an hour and a half.
So the 31st at 5 o'clock.
5:30. He said he.
5:30.
5:30.
Yeah, this is a
31st at 5:30, okay?
It would be
I
more
have-
of a discussion from the board perspective than a presentation.
Right.
We did the presentation tonight, so it'd just be a.
So
further
Jenny will get
We'll send out an email prior.
Jenny will get an
Yes, sir.
email out on that.
So that'll be the 31st, Thursday, 2 weeks.
He's already sent it.
At 5:30.
He sent you what was up there.
Okay. Anything else?
Well, are we
Until
gonna
we
do the
get that.
closed session? Are we not?
All right, this meeting is adjourned
What?
until March the
Oh, we're not doing the
31st.
closed sessions?
Closed session?
No, we are.
There was
we
no
did-
action
Action,
taken.
okay, so we're good, okay.
No action.
We're
Stand
gonna-
adjourned
we're not
until
gonna
March
eat.
31st at
We're not
5:30.
eating.
What's happening here? I don't know if we'll have time to eat.
Very good.
We don't need to eat.
Yeah, 'cause you got a little clothes on.
It's not, you know, if you leave here, we'll be done. Say,
Yeah, it could be a long way either way.
He can't wait before that time, no way.
I have a dental, I'm gonna be here Tuesday, I have a dental appointment.
Why don't you fix the dates?
You want to
It was a
mention
hot
this?
date. I mean, I was just being good news.
No, I will be in Chapel Hill, but it's a dental appointment.
Okay, you sure it's not an interview?
Trying to get your bag.
I said,
I had
you
this
can
Three thirty.
Oh, you gave it to me.
No, I'm not gonna let you take that.
I have to test my one for my job, and this is the earliest I could get back in there, so I haven't been in a year.
As long as we get this, I just don't want to lose another month.
Yeah, we had more people than usual. You get more outside service.
Working towards the other. But this is the first key, and I'm like,
Judy over there, we gotta get our signature.
I like it, man. So I make sure it fits.
Yeah, that's normal.
We might be able, by having this, the General Assembly might have come back and done their budget, so we might be able to do an update on that.
Jenny.
Yeah, I can't even get on that.
So that's a possibility there.
well, it's trying to get
I'll tell you.